Hello and welcome to Flipped Classroom. Our topic today is algebra, and we are looking at the skill of simplifying an expression using multiplication and division. Now, learning intention for this lesson is we are learning to simplify algebraic expressions using multiplication and division. And our success criteria is I am successful when I can multiply algebraic terms, divide algebraic terms, and identify and collect like terms in expressions. Just a quick reminder, when we look at algebraic terms, the letters x and y in this case are really x times y. So our expression 3xy times 5y is really 3 times x times y times 5 times y. Whereas if we're trying to add those two terms, 3xy plus 5y, we can't because they're unlike terms. So how does multiplying the terms differ from adding terms? You might want to revise clicking the card in the top corner so that you can have a quick look at adding and subtracting like terms, and then you can come back to this video if you've forgotten. So multiplying and dividing like terms. So just a reminder, when we've got 4ab, it's really 4 times a times b. And this really does help us a lot when we're multiplying out terms. So here you can see we have 4ab times 3c, and I've expanded it out so that it's 4 times a times b times 3 times c. Now I'm gathering all of the like elements together. So I've got 4 times 3 up the front, and then times a times b times c in alphabetical order at the back. And then we can simplify this. 4 times 3 is 12, and times a times b times c just becomes abc. As mathematicians, we want to be as efficient as possible, so we don't write those little time symbols in between every time. Now, division is kind of similar. Division is usually written as a fraction. So 12ab over 9ad actually means 12ab divided by 9ad. So to simplify it, we look for what's called common factors. Now, just remember that anything divided by itself is always 1. Except for if that anything was 0. So if we see the same variable or the same pronumeral at the top and the bottom, we can cancel those out and it becomes 1. So in my example here, the 12ab over 9ad, the 12 over 9 simplifies to 4 over 3. The a's cancel out and what's left is b and d. So what we've got is 4b over 3d. So here's some examples. I want you to try them first so you can pause the video and then come back and see our workings. So on the left hand side I've got my thinking, and on my right hand side I've got my working, and this is what I'd be showing my teacher or anyone who's marking my test to show that I understand this question. So first I'd write the expression out with the multiplication signs, and then I would bring the numbers to the front. So you can see on my right hand side I wrote the original equation, and then I've expanded it out. So I've got 7 times a times 2 times b times c times 3 times d. Now if I rearrange all of the components in there, I get 7 times 2 times 3 times a times b times c times d. And again, I've put all those pronumerals, those variables, in alphabetical order. It just makes it a little bit easier to make sure I don't miss anything. And then I simplify it. So 7 times 2 times 3 is 42. And then I can just write those pronumerals as a, b, c, d. And that's it. So for the next one, again, I'm going to write that expression, expanding it out. So I've got 3 times x times y times 5 times x times z. And I'll rearrange it again so that I've got those numbers up the front, the 3 times 5, And then in alphabetical order, I have all the pronumerals or variables. And that's x times y times z. Now, if you remember back, anything times itself is a squared number. So when we simplify this, we get 3 times 5 is 15. And then x times x becomes x squared. And then y and then z at the end. And remember, it is all multiplied there, but we are being efficient by not writing those multiplication symbols. Now some division examples. Again, you can pause the video to practice these and then come back to see if you've got them right. So on the left, I am still doing my thinking, and on my right, I'm doing my writing of what my workings is. So on the left, I'm going to rewrite the numerator and denominator in full with the multiplication signs. So I've got 10 times a times b all over 15 times b times c. Now let's cancel out some common factors by removing the multiplication signs. So b times b, I can get rid of those and they cancel out and become 1. Now 10 over 15, I can simplify, both get divided by 5, so I'm left with 2 over 3. The a has nothing to cancel in the denominator, and a c has nothing to cancel in the numerator. So it just becomes 2a over 3c. And my workings, I can clearly see that the 2 and the a are still in the numerator area, and the 3 and the c are still in the denominator area. So for question B, again, let's expand it out, and this time let's expand out that squared. So I've got 18x squared y over 8xz, and when we expand it out, we get 18 times x times y, and then we can divide that by 8 times x times z. Now we can cancel out the common factors and remove those multiplication signs again. So let's go through. I can cancel 1x from above and 1x from below. I can't cancel that second x because there's only 1x in the denominator and 1x and 2 x's in the numerator, so only one of those x's get cancelled. And of course our coefficients, 9 and 4, because we can divide 18 by 2 to get 9 and 8 by 2 to get 4. The x, the y, and the z are left because nothing else can cancel out there. And so what we're left with is 9xy over 4z. And again, we can clearly see in my workings, we've got the 9, the x, and the y on the numerator, and the 4 and the z in the denominator. So the reflection for this lesson would be, why is it important to rearrange the coefficients and variables when multiplying and dividing? You can think about that, put your answers in the comments below, and come back for more videos on algebra. Please like and subscribe.